Welcome back, everyone, to the School of Greatness podcast. I'm very excited today. We've got my friend Bedros Keuilian in the house. Good to see you, brother.
Lewis, thank you so much for having me.
Glad you are here. And you just drove from where you live in Corona, right? Is that our west?
Chino Hills.
Chino Hills, near Corona.
Near Corona. Yeah.
So it's not too far of a drive to get out here, although it might have been today. I don't know. Was it?
Believe it or not, it was just about an hour, which
really?
I had planned on.
2 hours or something?
I had planned on listening to an audiobook, so it worked out perfect.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, typically I wouldn't have done this drive at this time, but you're the exception.
I appreciate it. Yeah. I appreciate it. Now, we met. When did we meet? Maybe 4 years ago, or I think through Craig Ballantyne or some event or Mastermind somewhere.
I remember Ryan Dice being out there, Craig being there. It might have been that we were all at a Dan Kennedy event.
Was it?
Yeah.
Maybe it was. Some marketing event.
Tennessee, Midwest somewhere.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I don't even remember. It was probably about 4 years ago, right?
Yeah.
4 or 5 maybe?
Maybe 5. Yeah.
But I remember meeting you and, like, you were this, like, legend that people would talk about. You were, like, the name that, like, you actually didn't go out that much, I don't think, but everyone who was an expert, they worked with you and they'd rave about you. They were like, this is the guy that helped me go from $200,000 a year to 7 figures a year. And he helped me position things. He helped me really structure. And that's kind of what you've been doing for many years, right? You've been helping experts in multiple different industries, essentially create coaching programs, masterminds, all that type of thing, right?
Yeah, high-level coaching consulting. Yeah.
High-level coaching consulting. Yeah. And who's a good fit for being a high-level coach or consultant?
You know, it's really authors, thought leaders, experts in industries, whether they're in the finance industry, martial arts industry, dental industry, chiropractic industry. I've really helped them all. It's not even something that I sell or market, right? Because my business is business to personal trainers, gym owners. Mm-hmm. But it's something that I've gotten so good at that they come find me.
Yes.
And they offer me an obscene amount of money, and I teach them.
You're like, okay, I'll show you.
Yeah, and I enjoy it because I know the impact that a high-level coaching program, a mastermind program, can make on the person in it.
Sure.
Is 10x what they will get from the product that has the same information.
Right. But you started it, you started out kind of doing the fitness boot camp stuff, and you teach these, or you sell franchises, Fit Body Boot Camp, I believe that's what it's called, right? So you've been doing that for a while, which is essentially showing anyone in the fitness space or a fitness coach like how to run their own fitness boot camp and how to have their own business as a fitness professional.
Exactly.
As opposed to doing just like one-on-one personal training, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah.
So here's how to go from a personal trainer to running a business that brings in a lot more money.
Yeah. Really, in the fitness industry, the number one thing that kind of stops a personal trainer from making the type of money they want, having the impact that they want to have in their communities is time. Because it was always one-on-one, 60 minutes.
You can only charge $150 maybe at a premium level.
Right.
Even that's a lot in LA. You know, it's like.
Yeah, so you're alienating so many people. And when all of a sudden I started noticing that, wait a minute, at the most highest level of the NFL, Super Bowl champions are training a coach on a field with a group of high-performance athletes. Couldn't we as trainers then maybe train the average Mr. and Mrs. Jones who just has weight to lose, wants to tone up? We're not talking, their back lumbar fused or whatever.
Right.
Couldn't we train them in a group? And as soon as I figured that out and then put that inside of a building, a boot camp, right?
Yeah.
We launched Fit Body Boot Camp as the franchise, and now we've got over 400 locations worldwide. Wow. And last year, Entrepreneur Magazine said we're the top 15 franchises in the fitness industry. And we're now adding one every other day to the map. So we're in 3 continents, 6 countries, and growing. Like, what a cool thing for anyone in the fitness industry to be able to make a bigger impact and reach more people while not stressing out and burning out.
Right, gotcha.
Yeah.
Wow, it's powerful. And the boot camps are, you give them the structure, you give them everything, the lessons. They just show up, they promote it.
That's it. It really is. It's the Subway of boot camps.
Gotcha.
If you were to buy into a Subway franchise, they're going to tell you what type of ham to get, how thin to slice it, soup to nuts. Because the Federal Trade Commission holds us, oversees all franchises, so we have to give you a very specific set of marching orders. Otherwise, we get held liable. So.
Gotcha. Now, do you feel like there's a it's hurt your business with CrossFit success, or it's helped your business? Is it completely different because it's similar, like a boot camp class type of thing?
That's a good question. And I used to think that maybe CrossFit might bleed over into what we're doing. As it turns out, we have Fit Body boot camps that are in the same parking lot.
Wow.
Across the parking lot is CrossFits, and they complement each other. If you want performance, you're going to CrossFit.
Yeah.
If you want fitness, fat loss, you're going there. And those two people are so far apart that typically, so the person who accidentally signs up at CrossFit will send, they'll end up sending the person over to Fit Body and vice versa. Hey, you lost a weight, now you're thinking about doing some performance stuff?
Yeah. So it's not a competitor, it's complementing.
It ended up being complementing, yeah.
That's
and it goes to show you that our fears internally
right?
always cause us to go on the darkest side of, oh man, I must crush them. As it turns out, I don't have to crush them. In fact, they complement us.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so you started. When was the first mastermind that you either attended or heard about?
Well, believe it or not, the first mastermind was Joe Polish's Genius Network, 25K group, 6, 7, 8 years ago. Well, that was the first one I attended. I started one, not even realizing it was a mastermind, because I had coaching clients, and again, my own model. You can only do one-on-one for so long before I can't spend any more time on the phone.
No.
Right? I mean, those earbuds were just jammed into my ear. Yeah, and so as I started realizing, a lot of these clients of mine all have gyms, different parts of the world. I'm spending 20, 30, 40, 60 minutes a week with each of them on the phone.
You're saying the same things.
Saying the same things. Some of them are saying things that this guy could have used that I could have really, hey, pay attention to him, right? But I said, what if I put you guys in a room together? And so the first one actually was every other month I was running these things, right?
Oh, in person.
In person. So everybody, yeah. So a little excessive. I went over, As it turns out, every 90 days, every quarter is perfect. So that was in 2008 where I ran my first mastermind. 2009 is when I joined Joe Polish's Genius Network. And as it turns out, I was like, holy crap, he's got a name for it. It's called the Mastermind. All I did is bring my coaching clients together, right, every other month. Sure. Turns out there was a name for it. And then as I started hearing more about masterminds, I noticed there was a fundamental flaw in them, and I'm going to go back and tweak mine. It shouldn't be every other month. It should be every 90 days. We can't, you've got years of knowledge. Like, you are a consumer of knowledge, and then you apply that knowledge.
Yes.
And so if someone comes to you and says, hey, man, coach me for 12 months, out of the goodness of your heart, Lewis House is going to go sit down, get your notepad and pen, and then you're like a fire hydrant that just turns on. Because you want the best for them, not realizing that it took you years, over a decade, right, as we just talked about,
working every day
to build that knowledge.
Yeah.
But we feed it to them because we just want to over-deliver. And so what I would find is they get paralysis by analysis.
So they don't do anything.
They don't do anything.
So you need to space it out, is what you're saying.
Yeah, and so and I can list off probably 100 different variables like that cause attrition or that cause the person to overwhelm or to self-destruct or self-sabotage. And so once I started to fix each variable, retention goes through the roof, application, so now we teach low-hanging fruit first, even if they want to do the cool Facebook marketing stuff.
Right.
No.
Let's help you make more money first.
You got 8 clients. 4 of them are going to give you referrals. Yeah. Those referrals are pre-sold, pre-qualified. Let's get them in. First.
And then use a little bit of that money for some Facebook marketing or some Instagram ad spend or whatever.
That's it. Yeah. That's it. So, and I'm very guilty of that. I just wanted to showcase my knowledge. And so at the first mastermind meeting, I would just blah like a fire hydrant. They don't know where to start, right? And so, as coaches, I think we kind of go a little overboard sometimes.
Right.
And when you're running a coaching program, mastermind program, that's something to be aware of.
Sure. Yeah. So, okay, I want to talk about really 2 things today, which is why you should either have a coach or join a mastermind program, how to find the right one of each of those if you're going to choose one.
Sure.
The pros and cons of that. But then also, if you are an expert, there's a lot of high-level people listening. What are the right industries to start a mastermind group coaching program, mastermind, whatever you want to call it. And again, what are the best ways to structure, facilitate it? And then what would you do if you were me? So
those 12 questions is what you want answered.
If you can remember. So let's start with the first one. That's what I want to cover today.
I forgot the first one when you got to the 12th one, man.
So these are the bullet points so that Tiff knows. These are the things we're going to cover. So the first thing is, should everyone find a coach or a mastermind to join in the business world or in life in general? Should we or should we not?
Yeah. The answer to that is a blanket yes, and I'm going to qualify it this way. If and when you go to find a coach, make sure that they practice and not just profess.
Not
right?
theory, but
right.
they're doing
They've
it.
been there. So I was a personal trainer that worked at Disneyland as a fry cook and as a bouncer at a gay bar, because the gay bar paid more because skinheads would come in to gay bash.
Sure.
And so I needed so much money that I was willing to get in fights. I'm not a fighter. I can talk my way out of any fight.
You're a big dude, though.
It's God's gift of intimidation. Then if the talking doesn't work, I can, and then I run, right? And so I'm that trainer who then was able to open up 5 gyms, make them successful finally, because until then I was a personal trainer, fry cook, and a bouncer. A client took mercy on me and said, hey, man, you're not a closer. You're an order taker. Listen to this Tom Hopkins tape. You didn't close me. You just took my order. And that hurt. Right? And I said, well, you're right. I have two side jobs. People who come to me give me objections. I don't know how to handle the spousal objection, money objection, time objection. So I let them walk. So I just take the people who are like, how much is personal training? I want to buy 10 sessions. Great. Let me take your order.
Right.
And so as my mentor, Jim Franco, gave me that tape, and Tom Hopkins leads to Brian Tracy to Dan Kennedy, Kennedy to Halbert, et cetera. And, and then I start learning personal development, right? To Tony Robbins, and all of a sudden my mind is opened up into my surroundings of the people around me. Who do I need to cut out because they're cancers versus who I need to spend more time with because I need to rise to their level? And all of a sudden I realize, holy cow, man, these are, I've got built-in coaches. As a personal trainer one-on-one, your clients are typically the affluent people, right?
Right.
So I started asking all my clients in between workouts,
Right.
a little business advice here, a little business advice there, and I found that these are people who practice. One guy's got a software company, the next guy does automotive company, right? Rental cars, public storage places. And man, it was just the best advice versus taking advice from a family member or a friend who goes, I heard it on Shark Tank.
Who's not practicing, who hasn't experienced it.
Yeah. So that's the big thing, is to take advice from someone who's been there and done that. And if they're consulting in your industry, but they come from a different industry, I would tread cautiously.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you think everyone should have a coach?
I believe so.
I think so, too.
As athletes, we have coaches, right?
Don't try to do it on your own.
No.
Yeah.
If you've dealt with trauma in your life, whether it's some kind of physical abuse, sexual abuse, whatever, neglect as a kid, you go to a therapist. A good therapist is a coach.
Yes.
Right? You've got personal development coaches like the Tony Robbins, like the Brandon Bouchards. Why not have business coaches? Why not have high-performance coaches? If you've got limiting beliefs, why not have someone reset your thermostat that mom and dad had set so low?
Yeah.
Right? Or circumstance of growing up had set so low. We're in it. We can't see the trees.
Yeah.
I look at it as a coach. A good coach is in a helicopter saying, you see a lot of trees, but I know if you go 50 yards that way and then 10 yards that way, you've got an open path.
Be open up, yeah.
That's it.
Right.
That's what a coach does. They buy you time. They buy you speed. They buy you success.
Who's the best coach you've ever had in life in general, whether it be business, health, life-related, relationships?
Are you ready for this? Craig Ballantyne.
He's great.
Yeah. And I never paid him a penny. In fact, he's actually paid me when he joined my coaching program in 2008.
He's a brilliant mind.
I
don't know how he does it.
Yeah.
He produces so much great content, information, and it's just he's got a different level of a mind.
The most disciplined man I know, and the most structured man I know. And I'll be very honest with you. I come from a background where academics weren't, forced on me. I dropped out of college. I barely made it out of high school. I was a foreign kid that came from a communist country, so English was a second language to me as it was anyway. And so, I made money through hustling and through grinding. And as I'm coaching Craig and as we become friends and then business partners, his influence on me and discipline and sleeping at the same time, waking up at the same time, not hitting the snooze, because if you hit the snooze, then you're really hitting the snooze on your passion and your purpose and your dreams, right? First thing in the morning. What does that tell your subconscious? And so through full immersion, I've had the best coach over the last 7 years that I've known him, and that's Craig Ballantyne.
Amazing.
Now, every coach that I've gotten consulting from, I've paid Frank Kern money, I've paid Dan Kennedy money, I've paid Joe Polish money, and the list goes on. They've all 10x delivered the value because I took action on it. But the full immersion came from, and the long-lasting changes came from Ballantyne.
I love it. What do you think is the biggest lesson you learned from him in the last 7-8 years?
The biggest lesson was to sleep at the same time, wake up at the same time, 7 days a week, no matter what.
Really?
Sleep is so valuable. It's so important.
Yeah, I
It's so
believe that.
underrated. I used to think that, here's what I'm a fighter jet. I would literally walk around the house, honey, I'm a fighter jet. Fighter jet, doesn't even come down to get refueled. They're up there getting refueled, right?
Right.
We've all seen the YouTube videos.
Yeah.
Well, the fighter jet, if they leave those afterburners on too long, they just fall out of the sky, which no one had told me.
Right.
Until I fell out of the sky. I was having essential tremors and anxiety attacks and not realizing it. And as I got better at sleep, those just went away because the one discipline leads to another and to another. How you do anything is how you do everything,
yeah.
right? And so that one thing that he taught me, or I learned through him, and we'd be in Vegas, we'd run a mastermind together because now we run a mastermind together. And at 8 o'clock, and he's gone. Buddy, where are you going? I'm like,
Sleep.
yeah,
I'm bed by 9 or whatever,
yeah,
right? Or
yeah, exactly. And he powers off 30 minutes, all his electronics before. So now I do the same thing. I power off. I don't go to bed and then do this.
yeah.
I'm powered off 30 minutes before, and my mind stops racing, and the left and right side start reconciling of the information I took in throughout the day versus the information I keep consuming, taking it, right, until I fall asleep, and then Lord knows what happens in my brain.
Right. What time do you go to bed and wake up?
10:30.
10:30. Wow.
I'm in bed. Wake up at 5:30.
Wow.
And it's been like
no matter
that
what, even if you're in Vegas or traveling around the world or whatever.
Yeah, I'll adjust to that time zone real quickly. And 10:30, I'm in bed. 5:30 a.m. I wake up, and I go right through my rituals. Meditation has never worked for me, or maybe, you know what? I'm going to take full responsibility. I've never enjoyed meditation.
Sure. So you've chosen not to.
I'm a 235-pound hummingbird. You can't stop me.
Yeah.
And so for me, I'll wake up at 5:30, and I'll do my, who are the 3 people that I'm grateful for, and I'll text them later on that morning. Right? What are the 3 things I'm grateful for? The air, my backyard, my beautiful dog, right? Whatever. And tomorrow's might be different. So 3 people who I'm grateful for that I'll text, and just a pumper upper text. And then 3 people or 3 things that I'm grateful for. And then I move on. Move on, my day starts.
Yeah. Maybe that's your way of meditation then.
It could be.
There you go.
Yeah.
I like it. Okay, so who should you be looking for? We talked about, you said everyone should have a coach, and you should be looking for someone who's practicing the thing that you want to learn, and not someone who's in a different industry teaching some theory about it. Now, who should be coaching or starting a group coaching program or a mastermind?
Good question. So anyone who's an author, again, a thought leader, someone who's, let's say been good at trading stocks, selling homes, building training businesses, fitness businesses.
If you've done anything well
for a significant period of time, right? Then you need to, I believe you have an obligation to pay that forward through a coaching program.
Wow.
Yeah, I really do.
What if you're like, coaching people is not for me. It's a time suck. It's all this energy. It
is a lot of energy.
Meeting 4 times a year on the phone every day with people. It's like, I don't want to do that. What if people have that mentality of it's a lot of time and energy?
I can't fix that.
Okay.
Then I just tell them, then
it's not for you.
It's not for you.
Yeah.
Yes, there's multiple 7 figures a year to be made from a good coaching program. That's what we do in my business. That's just one arm of the one branch of our tree. But you're giving all of you. You're fully present for those 3 days, 4 days. Craig and I were just this past weekend in Vegas, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. 2 groups. Our group is so big, literally it was like Groundhog Day, right?
Wow.
Hot seat day, teaching day, hot seat day, teaching day. By Saturday, your fuse is short. So if you're not sleeping, if you're not working out in the morning, if you're not hydrated, right. I mean, you as a fight. So I'll go back. Now I'm a new fighter jet in that it has to come down. The guys have to work on it, replace the broken pieces, and let's get it back up in the air, because if I stay up in the air and keep fighting, I'm going to crash. And so, if you don't want to put the work in,
right,
and you're not a people person,
right,
high-level coaching's masterminds aren't for you.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about how to structure a mastermind. If you're going to create one, if you're listening and you're interested in this, what's the best way to structure it? What's the right price level? Do people pay monthly? Do pay up front the whole year? Let's kind of break it down.
Yeah. So if you're structuring a mastermind, the best thing to do is to have one 3 times a year. Right?
3 times a year.
Yeah, 3 times a year. In between those 3 times a year, you're going to have coaching calls with them. I typically found I used to give 3 20-minute coaching calls per month. It was a little excessive. It had gotten to the point where, hey, Bedros, so what do you want to talk about? And so, again, there was no blueprint for a coaching program, how to launch a coaching program. So I went down to one 20-minute call per month, and Joan, my assistant, emails them and says, you have a coaching call coming up tomorrow. Send me the 3 questions that you have in the order of importance. I get to see those in the morning.
Smart.
Right? And now I go,
get right to it.
Hey, Lewis, question number 1. I start asking your questions. I just read them off to you. I go, is there anything I left off? It's either a yes or a no. Goodbye. Go dominate your path. Right? Go take action, because if you don't, I can't help you with your next problem that you're going to have. My job is to create problems. It's just your coaching clients go from third world problems, I'm broke, I'm having anxiety,
right.
I'm overwhelmed, competition is killing me, to first world problems. How do I open a second location, third location? I'm hiring, my manager quit, an employee stole clients. And I'll take those problems. If an employee stole clients and left, that means I'm making money. Right? And so really it's 3 times a year, one 20-minute coaching call per month. And of course the questions have to come to you 24 to 48 hours before in the order that they importance, exactly. Because you might go off for the whole 20 minutes off question number 1, because that's what's important for that person, right?
And then it's done at 20 minutes. Do you extend it longer? Do
you
say,
it's done.
Guys,
stack them back to back. I'm a big believer in that. So all my coaching call days are Tuesday, Thursdays, and I'll literally plow through them. 8 to 10. 8 to 10 coaching calls. Every 3 calls, Joan will put a little 20-minute break for me.
Give you a break.
Yeah,
food, go to the bathroom.
Exactly.
Water,
But outside of that way you're in the groove, and I can say, you know what, Lewis, just 2 phone calls ago I talked to someone else and they had the same problem, and here's how we fix it. Or they had the solution to what you said, and here's what they told me. It's so fresh in my mind, right? And so I just plow through them, and I highly recommend that for everybody else. And the other thing is, of course, through Facebook now, you can have a Facebook private group. You put everybody in there, and you just ask everyone to pay it forward. Guys, if you're a veteran, you've been a member for more than 12 months, you're making multiple 6 figures, or now you're making 7 figures, pay it forward to the guys and gals who are green, right? And so they might go, hey, I was on a coaching call with Bedros, and he told me to do X, Y, and Z. Well, when I did, I now have this problem. My next coaching call is until next month. However, the group will help out.
Right.
And now with video, people are just posting their video questions in the group.
It's amazing, right?
Yeah. So that's really how you're going to structure your mastermind. Price-wise, whatever the market will bear. I'm a big fan of charging as much as you can. One, I'm a capitalist, and I believe that I have knowledge that can win you freedom, income, opportunity, lifestyle, and that should be paid a premium. I mean, I deserve a premium for that. Number 2, the more the person pays, the more they pay attention, and the more they execute. I've just found that in my decade and a half of doing this stuff, right? Selling info products, I've got online versions of my coaching program. I've got an ascension ladder, so it's online version, and they all come to a live event where I offer them or pitch them the masterminds, and then I've got the one-off ones that pay 6 figures to sit with me, right? And that's fine too. Some people don't want to be in a group; they're too special. They're unique snowflakes. That's okay too. But the group ones that I'm most excited about, that's fun, is there's got to be a buy-in. They've got to put some skin in the game. Anywhere from $2,000 to $6,000. Right? Now, where you were at a Fitness Business Summit, we dropped the price to $1,000 for the buy-in. You want to make an irresistible offer. If you're going to have a group pitch, you're going to take that buy-in and drop it down to the minimum, $1,000, right? Throughout the year, each month we sell 1 or 2 masterminds through phone coaching calls. They pay the $6,000, and then it's $1,800 a month. Now, that's what my market will bear, and the more celebrity, credibility, authority I build, the more I charge. Exactly, right? What do I have my coaching clients who do this, that I've taught to do this in many different industries, charge? I say start at $1,200
a month.
Yeah, $1,000 buy-in, $1,200 a month, and then multiply that by 10, and that's your paid in full price.
Gotcha.
Does that make sense?
You only do 10 months, you don't do the full year, right?
It's full year. But if they're going to pay in full, then you multiply. Yeah. So for on $1,200, it'd be $12,000 for the year.
Gotcha.
Right. So they get a bit of a discount.
Yeah.
For committing for a year, and you want that. I've also found the more committed people. So one's paying $1,800, one's paying $18,000. $1,800 a month, $18,000 paid in full for the year. All things being equal, the $18,000 paid in full works harder.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. And those are, so we always, throughout the year, hey, why don't you pay off your balance? Pay off your balance. 1, capital for us, right? Number 2, we know they're going to work harder.
Because now they want to make the money back.
Yes.
And make 10 times as much.
Yeah.
It's more of a pain for them, right? It's like a pain. They're paying it.
Yeah.
So they're like, how do I get this back? I've invested.
It's the carrot and the stick, right?
Yeah,
so that part works like a really good stick.
I like that.
Yeah.
okay, so if you were me, what would you do? And I've got a free podcast that gets 1.3 million downloads a month right now.
Amazing.
We've got the book. We've sold over 50,000 copies in 5 or 6 months. We've got School of Greatness Academy, which is a $500 8-week boot camp online, and they get 3 group coaching calls from me where I do kind of like Q&A type of thing. And then I've got my premium courses from $1,000 to $2,000, and that's it. And I've kind of like I've coached people for $10,000 an hour in the past, and that's worked well for some. I like when people execute and they get results,
Sure.
and I feel like, okay, this is worth it. But when it's like a drag for me on the phone, I'm like, it's not fun for me.
Right.
You know what I mean? So how would I structure it to really make sure it pays off for my time and gives me energy at the same time, where I've got the people that I'm like, they're actually motivated, they're inspired, they're taking action, which gives me more energy and wants me to keep doing it. Not like, how can I get off the phone quick enough?
Yeah.
And make it still give me time and freedom to do my lifestyle, to travel, because I'm doing all of these different things.
Sure. Someone's got to play handball.
Someone's got to play handball, right? Yeah. And I'm speaking, I'm traveling, doing that. So how can I structure it in a way?
Yeah.
Should I do the same thing that you do, or is there other variations? What do you think? What's the price level? How many people should be in it? I think you've got a couple hundred. You've got a couple different ones.
Yeah.
Should I start out with 20? Is there a magic number? Do you want to keep them all in the same class for the year? Do you throw people in throughout the year?
Yes, another
questions.
dozen questions. This man right here. Oh,
just throwing it all at you.
I should have taken Adderall before I come here. All right, so those are all great questions, and I'm like a human computer, and I've got them all stored in my head chronologically in the order that you wanted them. So the reality is that if I were Lewis House, what would I do? Well, you've sold the book, and you've sold 50,000 copies. That is no small feat, and that is amazing. And you've moved people into, your online boot camp program where you're teaching them what?
Mostly about how to optimize their life, their health, and some business stuff. It's kind of like a mini mastermind.
Sure.
Of optimizing your vision, your goals, getting clear, taking action along the way.
Yeah. So the way I look at it is all the stuff that you're selling online, I would have 2 events a year. If I was Lewis House, I would have 2 live 3-day events a year, right? So that's really what you're committing to so far. Bear with me here.
Yes.
And one of them would be people who are in your products, like the 8-week boot camp where they're learning how to optimize their life, and some business stuff, right?
Online business stuff, yeah.
Yes.
Mostly online business courses.
Yeah, online business courses. So the offer to them would be, hey, because you purchased this online business course, you get to come to a live event for only $199, right? Now, we know that when these people get on a plane, they have to pay for that plane. When they get a hotel, right, the time away from work, et cetera, or their business, all counts. So, one, they've already given you money. They've proven to you that they want your knowledge and expertise. Number 2, you are only going to attract the cream of the crop. So here's why phone coaching is awful. And it is awful because the barrier to entry is so low. They're on their couch.
Don't have to do anything.
They're in a comfortable setting, right? Imagine if a therapist came to your house instead of you going to them. Like, hold on, I need to go to the fridge and get me a bologna sandwich, right? You want to be extracted. You want to extract them out of their environment, right?
Interesting.
So you can have better compliance, better control over them, and I know
context too, probably, right?
Yes, exactly. So if you got a coaching client that you're coaching over the phone, they're not going to be as compliant. Who knows what they're cruising on Facebook while you're talking, and then they reconnect and go, "Oh, sorry, Lewis, say the last 2 minutes again."
It's a waste of time.
And you want to choke them out,
right?
Yeah. Even if they're paying you $10,000 an hour. On the other side, you're going to have 2 live big events. One, which is the event that you're having right now,
Summit of Greatness.
The Summit of Greatness, which I think is an excellent title and an excellent idea of how you described it to me.
Yeah, kind of like a heart-centered TED Talk experience.
Perfect. And the other one would be straight up for business.
Yes.
Business, because you do coach and consult in business, and so people who have taken any of your business coaching courses. And this way those two don't,
intermix. Yeah.
Right? You want really clear delineation.
Sure.
And at those 2, 3, it might be a 2-day event or 3-day event. I'm a big fan of 3-day events because it's content every single day. But Saturday morning is when you make the offer. So when you structure these events, there is no other person pitching or selling anything. I pay for all my presenters to fly in. We paid you to come in, right, to speak. We pay for their hotel, their airfare, everything. And we tell them it's a no-pitch event. Do you still want to speak? Yes, great. And then I only pitch one thing. I've got an arsenal of stuff I can pitch,
Right.
but I only pitch one thing, the one thing, right? That book, The Essentialism, great book.
Yes.
And so you're going to pitch the one thing. So all day Friday, you're going to speak, and you're going to have others speak who you value and who can validate the badass that you are.
Right.
That has to happen on Friday. You know, people go, hey, Bedros, I want to speak at Fitness Business Summit. Well, unless you've accomplished something big or one of my coaching clients, you can't.
It's not going to support you. Yeah.
Right. If you're a coaching client, organically, you're going to get up on stage and say,
this is the greatest thing I've ever done.
right?
Yeah.
Before you even start teaching, you're going to just give love to the person, you know, to me or to you, right? Because of your coaching client. And then, of course, if they're a friend, a colleague, right, we just organically give love anyway. And so you've got so much third-party validation, so much social proof on Friday. Saturday morning, this is the formula of the big presentation. Then if I were Lewis House, Saturday morning, I would give my most impactful, where I reach in and I touch their heart, and then I go up 14 inches and I touch their mind, right? Talk. But it wouldn't end with a thank you. We don't want applause. We don't want standing ovation. That last bullet point on the last slide is a transition, and no one even knows. So were you at my talk Saturday? Okay.
Yeah.
So if you remember the very last slide, the very last bullet point was, the very last slide was all about dominate your path, right? It was decide, be disciplined, and dominate. Those are the three things I taught. And 3 slides each with like 4 or 5 bullet points. The last bullet point was, after I said, you know, what it takes to dominate your path, I said, let me bring up 5 people who have been dominating their path over the last 12
People
months.
were in tears. People were like, this changed my life. This is unbelievable. That's how much money I made.
Now, ordinarily, I would stop my presentation there, right? And then later on go into a pitch and bring those 5 people up. But when it looks like it's part of your presentation, and it really was, now I want to show you 5 people who have dominated, and I want you to hear their stories so that you know that where you are in the audience, you could be where they are now. And I brought 5 of my best coaching clients, and they, of course, had 3 minutes each to say how the coaching program has changed their life. And, of course, the audience was going to vote on who got the Land Rover. Every year I give a Land Rover away, right, to one of my coaching clients. And so really my presentation of decide, discipline, and dominate just kind of like a slider just faded into the offer for the mastermind. And then once those 5 got off stage, I said, now watch this video. They're in my 7-figure mastermind. If I could, I'd bring all 200 members up. But of course I can't. We'd be here all day. Here's a video of what we do 3 times a year. Yeah. So now I let the audience get exposed to what happens 3 times a year. Yeah. Miami, Las Vegas, San Diego. Destinations are important. They want to feel like a player. Because they are going to become players, right? And we feed them. We don't feed them Subway sandwiches. We go to nice, expensive, high-end steakhouses. I want them to live the lifestyle they're about to build. Right? Full immersion. And once that happens, then it's simple enough to say, now, is anybody here interested in learning how they can be like these 5 and the people in that video that I just showed you? Hands go up. I always ask for permission. I don't go, let me show you. Is anyone interested? And Cialdini talks about the where you get compliance, compliance consistency is one of the 6 weapons of influence.
Is it 6 or 7? I forget.
Maybe it's 7. Maybe it's 7.
Yeah. Maybe it's 6.
Whatever it is. Commitment and consistency go hand in hand, right? In other words, hey, Lewis, do you believe the kids in Africa should not have to starve? Yes, I do. Then can you donate $20, right? You're going to have to be consistent with that train of thought for the people listening. And so once I ask, can I show you? Can I tell you more about this mastermind? If you're interested, show me by hands. Yes. Okay, great. Commitment, consistency. Then the PowerPoint keeps going. Same slides as my presentation earlier on that emotional, heart-stirring talk. Now we're talking about, we're meeting 3 times a year. You get 20-minute coaching calls. Now we're in the fundamentals, right, of what they're getting. What it cost, what their savings is right now. And, of course, at that moment, we tell them you've got black envelopes on your desk that was put there before I spoke with the big label that says, do not open until instructed to do so, right? And so you could just hear this collective, the envelopes opening, and let's fill out that application together, you know? And the first page of that application, I'll go in depth, and I'll even send you a copy for you to use.
That'd be great.
If you, again, I would highly encourage you to offer, if I were you. So if not, I'll just come and do it myself for you. I'll bring my own applications with your name on it. But the first page is really a diagnostic, right? Where are you in your business? What was your income the last 12 months? What are your strengths and weaknesses? I want everybody to be filling this out. And I say, even if you're not going to join the mastermind, fill this out, because you can tear that top page home, take it home with you and go, okay, this is where I'm weak at in marketing, management, productivity. This is where I'm strong at, right? Leadership, etc. But the other reason, the real reason you want to do this
is they see what they need work on, and they're like, of course I need this.
And the person to your left and the person to your right just sees that you're filling it out. Right? If one person sits
social
back,
proof.
If one person sits back, they all sit back.
Yeah.
So you want everybody writing. They see what they need to work on. You don't have to join the mastermind. If you don't, take it with you and work on those.
Yeah.
Now turn the page over. Here's your payment options. You want to pay in full, and we'll still offer you a discount. We reduce from $6,000 buy-in to $1,000. Or would you like to pay monthly, right? Still $1,000 buy-in, and then $1,800 a month.
Yeah.
For 12 months. And so at that point, of course, what ended up happening at Fitness Business Summit is one of my co-coaches, Cable McElderly, stood up and said, I'll pay for the first 3 or 5 people's buy-ins.
Crazy. Yeah.
And what I didn't expect to happen was, one by one, my coaching clients stood up.
Everyone stood up and said, I'll pay for this person.
Yeah, before you know it, all the buy-ins were taken care of.
Crazy.
And we had 109 applications turned in.
Amazing.
It was nuts, yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And what was that? Most people pay monthly or for you, or
monthly?
The full? Most of them pay monthly.
Yeah. About, if you have
like
more
80,
than
20.
Yeah, is exactly right. I was going to say, if you have more than 20% who are paying in full, you're not charging enough. Yeah. And so I've got some coaching clients who go, hey man, at $1,200 now we're getting like 50% paid in full. Great. Now you're at $1,600 a month.
Interesting.
Oh man, my paid in full dropped to 20%. Perfect.
That's where you want to be.
That's where you want. Because you can come back to them 3 months from now after the first mastermind. They've gotten the value. Hey, why don't you pay the balance off in full? You're still going to get it all in full anyway.
Sure.
Yeah. You just get it up front or 3 months from now.
Yeah.
Right?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's little indicators that say that you're not charging enough if you're getting too many paid in fulls.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that metric is 20%.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. So again, if you were me, you would do 2 events, one more business marketing related, one more inspirational related. And would I run 2 masterminds for just one?
So because you've got so many irons in the fire, and of course your new book, and you're an amazing athlete, and you've got so much going on, and I know you value your time.
Yes,
you value your time, and so I wouldn't do it like I do, where you have 3 mastermind meetings a year and then a live event like Fitness Business Summit. You should just have 2 mastermind meetings, and then they can come to one of the 2 other live events as their 3rd meeting. Yeah.
And do like a one-day thing before, they just come to the event?
They just come to the event.
Gotcha.
They just come to the event, network. You're probably going to want to feed them separate. We had a special dinner for them, right? Our mastermind members. But really, between the coaching calls, the Facebook group, and those 2 other meetings,
they're going to get a ton.
They're golden.
Yeah, they're going to get
golden.
A lot.
And here's what's neat is you're going to have the best quality of people who resonate with you, and I'm going to tell you why. You're an authentic guy. I mean, you can't even help it. You speak from the heart.
Yes.
You do. I imagine, I haven't gone out with you, but I imagine if we're somewhere and there's someone that maybe just raises the hair on your neck, you're probably going to walk away or shun them very quickly.
That's true.
And so what's great about that is that anyone who I ask to put on a live event, I go, just be yourself. Because you want to attract people who you would hang out with.
Of course.
And so, listen, English is a second language for me. I get nervous when I'm up on stage. I'm an introvert. You got 800 people there to see me for 3 days. I'm sweating bullets when I'm up there because I'm nervous. I just want to be in a room like this talking to one person, right? And so I'll let them know, and I'll start cussing up a storm because I'm just nervous, right?
Right.
And I can see people that I'm turning off, and maybe they're a little more stiff than I want them to be, and that's okay. I'm polarizing. And so if you're authentic, you're organically going to just have these people who connected with you fill out the application. So at all my masterminds, I go, every single one of these people I would hang out with if they lived in Chino Hills. I'd go surfing with them. I'd go have a beer with them at Yard House. I would hang out with.
Cool people.
They're cool people because you were authentic and they were drawn to you like you're drawn to them, right? All the other people you've polarized. Yeah. And by the time these people even paid to come to your event, there's so many levels of filtration that you only get the best to join your masterminds. And that's why I think it'd be one of those things where after 2 days of running your mastermind, you get home re-energized because it's a small enough. Now, what is the size of the group you want to start? 15 to 20 is a really good start because you want to do hot seats on one day right?
Sure.
Day one, you're going to do hot seats. Everybody gets individual 15, 20 minutes.
Mm.
And if you have up to 20 people, about 18 will show, right?
Right.
There's about 10% who just don't show.
Sure.
And so you got about 15, 20-minute hot seats. On day two, you're going to have the best performers in the mastermind in the last 90 days.
Teach, right?
Teach.
Mm-hmm.
And then you teach. And there's day two.
How long do you teach for?
I might teach. Yeah, I might teach like the second half of the day. The first half of the day, it'll be the 5 people who did really well.
Yep.
And those 5, by the way, are competing for flight and hotel to the next mastermind. So we have
whoever's
a built-in transformation contest. So you teach your peers, they vote. I pay for the flight and hotel.
Yeah.
And so this really also builds built-in retention. Everyone's trying to get fill out the application so that they can teach. We pick the 5, and then one of the 5 wins. And it's such a neat thing to go, hey, look at this person. They were broke 6 months ago. Now they taught, and they won flight and hotel for the next trip.
Amazing. That's cool.
Yeah, so it's a lot of giving back, a lot of giving of your energy, but you're doing it with the coolest people that you would hang out with anyway.
Right. Wow. Amazing. What else should we know about masterminds? What else are we missing, or what else is important for us to?
What else is important? You definitely want to make sure that you educate them on the way you do business. If you give them your cell phone number, you're now on call. Weekends, they're texting you, whatever, right? So Joan, my assistant, does a great job. Many of my coaching clients have my cell phone. If you text Bedros on a weekend, you're probably not going to hear from him.
Right.
If you do, good for you. That's awesome. If you're going to send him an email, don't send 3 emails back to back. Gather all your thoughts, bullet point fashion, not big paragraphs, if he wants backstories. So these are all the details, right?
Sure.
The minutia. But again, no one taught me this. And so I would get giant emails from people where I'm
Essays.
scrolling.
You're like, oh, you're not even reading it. You're just going to the last part, see the question.
And I don't know if you do this. I would just kind of scroll looking for a question mark.
Yes,
and then
I don't know.
But if you tell them the conditions of doing business, right? Don't text me unless you need to. We're not friends. We're going to be friends when we hang out.
Yes.
Right. But otherwise, this is business, and don't forget, I'm running a multi-million-dollar company here. Right. You're writing a book.
Family. You've got this.
Exactly. And so a lot of people go, man, masterminds take so much from me. It's like, well, you kind of almost like kids. You have kids. They push the boundary. They're not going to go to sleep at 8:30. Now you let 8:45 happen. 9 p.m. is going to happen. 9 p.m. happen. 9:30 will happen. They eat peanut butter and jelly at night. You don't let them brush their teeth. They're not going to brush their teeth again the next night. So you have to keep it structured. And the more structured you can keep it and condition them on how we do business, you're golden. It's not going to bleed into your life.
Sure.
It's like because you let it bleed into your life.
Right. So really, Valentine was the best thing for you because he helped you structure the mastermind when you were launching it. You're like, okay, this is what I need to know, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
awesome. And now you guys have how many masterminds? You have 2, right? Or is it all one big one?
4 masterminds. The big one is the 7-figure formula mastermind, and nearly 200 members. Then Craig and I have a mastermind called the 100K Info Group. There's about 60 members in that one.
Wow.
Fit Body Bootcamp, our franchise, we have a mastermind, nearly 100 members. And then I run a 4th mastermind just by myself. This is for the high level. It's called the 8 Gs, and they named it themselves. They call it, they think they're gangsters. They're 8 gangsters, right? And now it's more than 8 in here, and these are the people who want to be gurus in different industries and run high-level coaching.
Is that like a 6-figure mastermind, or is that like another level? Are these all the same price points, or?
No, the prices for all the group masterminds are about the same, other than the 8 Gs and the private 1-days.
Yeah, gotcha.
Right, the AG mastermind is you're paying $50,000
for the year.
For the year, yeah, and you're in a very small group of other thought leaders, just experts in different industries. They're not all trainers. They're not all info marketers like the ones that Craig and I run.
Sure.
These are all people who have different industries, but they're the leaders in those industries.
Yeah.
They're paying $50,000. That's a good qualifier to bring them in.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. And then the 1-day, and then the 1-days are just the people who, hey, I'm a unique snowflake. I don't want to sit around with others. I want a half day with you. Then we make
charge
sure
your rates for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah. Amazing. And how can people learn more about, if they want to learn more about you or your masterminds, or?
Find me on Facebook. If you're in the fitness world, you want to find me, you're going to find me at ptpower.com. Otherwise, my authority site, bedroskeuilian.com.
How do we spell the last name? We'll have it all linked up.
Yeah, good luck. It's Keuilian.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And you're from Armenia, right?
I am.
When did you move?
Yeah, my dad was a member of the Communist Party, and in 1981, my brother was to go into the Red Army, and at the time, of course, they're fighting Afghanistan, right? Russia. And so in 1980, we escaped Armenia, which at the time was under communist rule, Russian rule, went into Italy, and my dad demands that I say this next part. we legally entered into the United States from Italy into New York, which is a very big thing.
Wow.
And so he worked his ass off, and I learned English, and
Amazing.
Yeah, we ate out of dumpsters. It was a typical rags to riches story, but I was the 6-year-old kid who, I thought it was fun crawling into the dumpsters,
Sure.
you know?
It's an adventure for you.
Yeah. Little did I know, they're like, hey, get that lettuce. Hey, get that jug of milk. You got it. Here you go. I'm having a good time. And so it was a neat experience. And I said, hey, we're in a free country now. You can be anything you want. And I was stubborn enough to believe that I could become anything I want. And here I am.
Wow.
Yeah.
When did you realize the moment that you could be anything you want? When was there a person that said something, or
No.
a video you watched, or a book, or you were like, wow, anything is possible?
This is going to be so corny. I had created this software called High Tech Trainer. This is like in 1999, right? And Jim Franco, my personal training client who gave me the Tom Hopkins tape, he flew to Chicago with me. O'Hare Airport is where we landed, and we stayed at a little crap hole hotel, 2 beds in 1 room.
Yeah.
And now Jim Franco, to me, like walked on water.
Sure.
Like, this man has software company and et cetera, et cetera. And he had come to there with me because remember Bally's Total Fitness? They're no longer, but their headquarters was in Chicago. And so I said, Jim, I want to pitch this high-tech trainer software to them. I created a kind of a Palm Pilot-based online personal training software, right? Little did I know the iPhone was going to come out several years later. Yeah. And so, anyway, went to Bally's. And so I'm staying in the same room with Jim. This is the first time I got to see Jim as a regular person, like getting ready for bed, brushing his teeth.
Which is a whole different world.
Yeah, because all I would see is the Cadillac pulling up in front of the LA Fitness that I worked at. And Jim walks in, with his strut and
takes the suit off or whatever.
Exactly, right? And puts on his, high-end clothes, and we're working out together. And he was just so suave with me. He would literally walk up to girls he's never met, and he'd sit on their lap, and he'd start rapping to them. We're talking about a 65-year-old man here. We're not talking about a 40-year-old hard-charging entrepreneur. Like, I love the man to pieces. I still talk to him. We visit all the time. And so I see that he's normal. He just literally puts on his pants one leg at a time. I saw it firsthand, right?
Yeah.
And that was it. That what?
Wow.
He's not any smarter. He's not any more educated. He's not. He just did not quit. And on that flight, he talked to, hey, I've had 2 bankruptcies, a divorce.
Wow.
He's gone through challenges. He hasn't been the foreign kid that came to America. He's gone through his own struggles.
Right.
But he never quit. He had a vision, and he just went tunnel vision on that and just dominated that path, and the rest was history. Yeah.
I love it. Final couple questions. This has been great. What are you most grateful for in your life recently?
I am most grateful for my parents. And I'll tell you why. They've struggled so much in that country. They've struggled so much. Like, my dad would have to hide. He was a tailor. He would have to hide the chalk and the meter stick. He would make suits on the side to save up money for us to escape. And then when we came to America, that man worked at gas stations along with my brother, pumping gas. He's been held up by gunpoint multiple times, same with my brother and my sister. See, they're all older than me. I was the oops baby, so my brother's 14 years older,
Wow.
my sister's 16. So I'm grateful for my parents, and that now they're both, thank God, they're still alive, that I'm able to show them that through me they're reaping the rewards of what they wanted. Does that make sense?
Interesting.
He started a nice little tailor shop out here in Anaheim.
Right.
And his claim to fame is that not Boyz II Men, one of those other boy bands back in the day came to perform at Disneyland, and he did all their alterations.
Cool.
He had their autographed picture on the wall. But man, they own a little house. He's got a couple rental properties. He lives the American dream. And then through me, I'm grateful that he's got his health, my mom and dad, that through me they get to live their American dream. And that to me is the biggest thing. I'm so grateful for them, because I wanted to reach this point so that they can go, it was all worth it.
Wow.
Does that make sense?
That's great.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I like that. This is a question I ask at the end for everyone. It's the 3 truths question. You've got a number of books coming out, which we'll talk about another time when they come out. But let's say that everything you've ever created has been erased from time, and this is many years from now, and it's your last day. And so you can't give anyone a book. They can't read anything online about you. No videos to watch. It's all gone. And you have a pen and a piece of paper, and you get to write down 3 truths, the 3 things you know to be true about everything you've learned. what would you leave behind in 3 simple truths? What would you say?
Wow, man, you got me. I wish you would have emailed me this
I know,
question.
right? Everyone says that.
Sure.
Never prepared anyone.
Yeah.
What's the candid answer that's
Sure.
coming up for you right now?
Yeah. Number one, give without expectation. Give without expectation. The Go-Giver, Bob Berg, great book.
Yes.
Give without expectation. Know that it'll come back. The universe just has a way of bringing it back. Number 2 would be sell. Sell. And that might be contrary to giving. Sell. You've got knowledge. You've got expertise. Sell people on something. Hey, how are you? I'm fine. You're selling me that you're fine. We all sell anyway. You might as well get damn good at it. Everyone must sell. And then number 3 is make more, earn more, save more than you think. Than you think you need. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
God forbid. We don't know when the next airplanes are going to hit the skyscrapers and inflation is going to go through the roof. We don't know what disaster is going to happen. I always tell people, are you married? They go, yeah, I'm married. I got a wife. Great, congratulations. You have 4 parents now, right? You don't just have your mom and dad. You have 4 parents to take care of. How do you want them to live? So most people don't save up as much as they should. And I'm panicky about that because I feel I owe so much to my mom and dad that, anything, God forbid, happens to them. I want them to have the best treatments, the best access, right? And so it's number 1, give without expectations. I love being a go-giver, and the people who have given to me, I feel so indebted to.
Yeah.
Number 2, sell, because you owe it. You're obligated to get your knowledge, information in the hands of others. And number 3, earn and save way more than you think you need, because you don't know what the future holds.
Those are great, man. I love that. And where can we find you online? Before I ask the final question, where can we connect with you online? Like in social media, are you anywhere besides Facebook?
Facebook really is where I'm a bit old school, so I'm on Facebook. But I'm active on Instagram as well, and Twitter gets managed by my team. But all the important messages will reach me.
Okay, cool. We'll have it all linked up here in the show notes afterwards. And before I ask the final question, Bedros, I want to acknowledge you for a moment, because you've been an incredible giver to me. You've been, you supported me. You've bought a bunch of my books and had me come speak at your event. You've been just constantly giving. Over the last few years, you always text me every now and then and reach out and offer support. And the way you teach and educate people, the fitness world, but everywhere else, is just so amazing, because you have a wealth of information and you continue to give it away. And I think it's really a great example that you set for me and other people to be inspired by, to give and to teach the knowledge that we've learned over the years. So I want to acknowledge you for all that you do, man.
Thank you for that. I appreciate that. I don't do well taking compliments.
Yeah, you took it well.
Break a sweat here. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Of course,
that means a lot. It really does.
And the final question is, what's your definition of greatness?
My definition of greatness is to be able to sleep in a sound peace of mind. That's it. And I say that because I have a lot of voices in my head. And if I'm going to be very truthful here, I've had a harsh childhood. I've dealt with it. I continue to deal with it. But I think the most important thing, whether you're a multi-billionaire or you're the man living under the bridge, is to sleep in a sound peace of mind. And in the last several years, I've been able to do that. And to me, that's greatness, more than any wealth I've created, than flying first class, charter jets, eating at restaurants where you only get helicoptered into. None of that matters. Sound peace of mind, sleep.
Bedros Keuilian. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hey guys, Lewis Howes here, and thanks so much for checking out this video and this interview. I hope you loved it. If you did, make sure to leave a comment below and share this with your friends. Also, I've got a huge announcement. The Summit of Greatness is coming very soon. If you love the School of Greatness podcast, if you love these interviews and you want more, you want to connect with some of these speakers in person, you want to connect with me and other people just like you who watch and listen to these interviews, then make sure to sign up for the Summit of Greatness. Go to summitofgreatness.com to learn more. You can check out more about the video that we created for the summit. There's a link in the description below as well. It's summitofgreatness.com. Check it out right now. I hope to see you there. And again, thanks so much for watching this video.